Welcome back to the
About
O and J YouTube channel. I'm your
on
co-host
TikTok.
Jay.
I'm your co-host. Oh,
Um, and here we're here to talk about some of the recent news, in the Spurs organization. Um, where do we start? So of course everyone's heard the news. Pop's not returning for the rest of the season, and then when you didn't think things could get any worse, Wemby is diagnosed with what? It was I don't know the exact name of the disease, but a
a
blood
blood
clot.
blood
Yeah.
clot from his shoulder, I think it was.
Yeah. So just start with well, first I guess we can start with Pop. Like what are your thoughts on just that whole situation from what you know?
Very sad. I know
Facts.
Pop had just signed I think it was a 2-year deal to continue coaching, like a 2-year extension.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so he was gonna teach the next great Wembayama, the future of the NBA.
Facts.
Um, So it's kind of sad in that sense, but also sad in the sense of like, just having Pop, have that stroke and seeing as how it seems like it's affected him more than we normally thought. I just wish the best for him and that he could continue having a long career, long life.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just certain times you gotta listen to your body, you know. Um, you're not doing nothing like your body will allow a certain amount of things, but then it's gonna get to a point where it's just all right now. Like I've taken you this far, like, all right, you gotta chill. Like, so I think now's that time, I mean, he has nothing to prove, nothing else to prove. One of the greatest coaches we've ever seen. And just sticking with one franchise at that, right? Like just sticking with one franchise and just building it from the beginning all the way till the end, right? Countless stars, right? From the David Robinsons, Tim Duncans, Bruce Bowens, Tony Parker, Manu, Robert Horry, I mean, Dennis Rodman for a little bit. Like everybody, Steven Jackson, let's goes on. Patty Mills, Boris Diaw, blah, 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 right? He's coached some greats. So I think I mean, yeah, like you said, it's time. And I mean, I seen the report that, probably would be maybe it would be cool like for like a advisory role, like what I mean, like a consultant. Maybe you don't have to report to the office every day. I mean, seeming like how Pop is, maybe that would probably be kind of tough. Somebody who's been in the habit of coming in, however it is, coming up with game plans, running practices. So that might be a little bit of an adjustment. But I mean, yeah, you gotta. It would be great to just have him in some type of advisory role for sure. You know.
Now, I do remember, now I don't know if this is still how he has it set up, but didn't Pop have like a dual role where he was the coach and I think he was also
Yeah.
the president or the general
Team
manager of the
president.
team?
Yep. Yes.
The president, there we
Yeah.
go.
So I wonder. Even that's a good point too, because I wonder how that works now. Like, I don't remember hearing anything about like who takes over. I mean, I guess I don't know. Is that team president? It seems like somebody that will work close with like the GM and like those type of
Yeah. I
like
think he has the
positions.
final
So
say in all the decision making.
right. So I mean, I wonder who takes over, who has taken over for that while he's been gone. But I mean, I think an advisory role would be probably pretty good. But yeah, it's just time. It's time. Just now, who's the next coach? I don't know. Do they believe in Mitch Johnson that much? Right. I mean, you can't. I don't know. Like, do you really judge this season off? Like, I mean, being put in a tough position, you know what I mean? And, you know, and having to like, and then having to be able to like coach a team, unexpectedly, like, do you judge this season? Like, is this a fair sample for him, and not bringing them back next year, right? So, I mean, that's something to look out for too. 'Cause, I mean, because if I'm thinking like with with Joe Mazzulla from the Celtics, like with his position, I think he did well, he came in the Ime Udoka situation. Did that happen in the offseason? Did it?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, so maybe that might be different. Like, he had well, he didn't even have a full off season. Like, he had a partial off season to, prepare and then he was able to, get it done. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you bring back Mitch Johnson? Do you think just because? I mean, why not? The team's already really young anyway. So I mean, why not?
Knowing the Spurs, they probably had a plan set already on the
Okay.
direction they want to take. Just knowing how they are, I think
Yeah.
they know. Especially they've had the Popovich coaching tree so big. They people who've coached under who've been assistants under Pop have gone on to get head coaching
Dang.
jobs, get championships. So I
Talking
feel like they always have somebody there ready to step up.
yeah, his tree is insane. I mean, Kenny Atkinson, right? Number one in the East right now, right? Um, Quinn Snyder, the Hawks are doing well. He's known as a great coach. Getting his teams to the playoffs consistently. So yeah, I mean it'll be interesting. But yeah, get well, Pop. Hope to see you. Maybe not on the sideline, but hopefully, there's still some type of role that he can play within the organization. Because I mean, you don't just like get rid of a mind like that. I mean, of course, you want him to get healthy, but with his basketball acumen, like you gotta, if his health permits it, like you gotta have him in the building at some type of capacity for sure.
Correct. I agree.
Now Wemby, I tried to do like the
When
Kendrick, try to do the Kendrick like mustard.
that's crazy.
That was bad. It was bad. But like, yeah, Wemby. It's tough. That's a tough situation. Uh, it was interesting because he did play in the All Star game, so that was interesting. And then this just came out of nowhere. Um, he's having an incredible season. Incredible. Uh, he was leading the league in blocks. He's probably one of the league front runners for defensive player of the year. Um, he was growing from last year. He kind of took on that role of, being the number one option. And, Chris Paul had him playing, pretty well and, just I love their two-man game. Like it was great to see. And he was just, I don't know, he was just improving and he's showing that like he could be that leader. And then, just this situation happens, right? So yeah, like what are your thoughts on just the situation?
Well, originally when I first got that notification down on my phone and I looked at it, the first thing that went to my mind was Chris Bosh. Because I remember
Okay.
Chris Bosh had blood clots, which forced him to retire early from his career.
Right.
Um, so that's kind of what went through my mind, kind of scared me a little bit, but it looks like Wembayama isn't as serious as Chris
Okay.
Bosh, where he won't have to retire.
Right.
Um, so thankfully, Wembayama can still come back. But
Yeah.
if the Spurs have such a bright future, I'm
Mhm.
just glad they were able to catch this on early before it ever got worse.
Right.
And that if the Spurs had one season that they had to give up, I think this is the season.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's tough. You're right. That's a great point. This is probably a good season to not have to, I mean, it sucks, but I mean, you lose your head coach, right? So, and then also you gain, and then you gain like a superstar, in De'Aaron Fox, right? So I guess a part of me, like, you would have loved just to, as an organization, I would love, it's kind of tough because like you would love to be able to for Wemby and De'Aaron Fox to just be able to gel, get to just get used to each other's playing styles and things like that. So I mean that's just tough on the organization in general. And then like Fox, you just get there, right? And you thinking like you're gonna team up with this superstar, with this incredible player, and then injury like, and then this injury happens. So I mean, yeah, it's tough, but yeah, hopefully both Pop and Wemby get well, and yeah, I mean just speedy recovery to both for sure.
Right? speedy recovery to both. You know, it's a tough time now, but it's a bright future ahead for the Spurs.
Yeah,
So
no, for sure. But yeah, it's been another clip. And we'll see you in the next video. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Yo.